Hello. Now I wanted to help you with some examples that I have of some video that I took over the last week when we were introducing Morty to our house, and also the general noises and the stimuli that we have from wildlife and just the sights and smells and sounds in the backyard and the front yard, and also to what's going on inside of the house, as well as being introduced to Marco. Now, it's really important that you set up your house so you can do things in phases. And what I mean by that is compartmentalise with barriers and things like that to make life easier for you. And you might have noticed in last week's video that Morty was very interested in the bird cage. Now, you can see behind me that I've got a barrier, but I had to actually put a large towel over that barrier because it was still enticing Morty to want to have a look and see what's going on with the birdcage. But I've also had to put a towel over the birdcage as an added barrier, if you like, to help reduce Morty's interest in that area, because that's going to be something I'm going to have to stagger over the next few weeks. It's not something that is going to be a priority for me. So that's the first thing to do, is prioritise what you need to do. And I would say the main priorities are to compartmentalise with barriers, and I'll show you a video that I have how we've managed it here. So promoting calm behaviour by making distance your friend, trying to do things in phases using your barriers, and also using lots of interesting food puzzle toys in different situations to help create pleasant associations with that environment. And then what we're also doing is we're helping to distract or divert our dog's mental stimulation, if you like, towards something that's productive. And that's also going to help desensitise them to some of the natural sounds and things that are happening in the properties adjacent to us, but also in our own backyard, just with wildlife and things like that. So the first video I want to show you is, okay, I'm just going to play that now. So this is day 1, I think, or day 2. Now you can see, I want you to pay attention to Morty's body language as well, in that he had his tail up, his ears were up, he was looking quite excited. And look, there he is, he's just jumped up on the rail there, on the barrier. And I've had a look at Marco to just sort of say, you know, that's really interesting. We need to see if we can divert Morty away. And he's really responded very nicely. Now, I've asked him for a sit, but it's just too much to expect him to sit with all that stimulation of having the birdcage there. And also the fact that he has had a play session in the morning when we got up. And that's another thing that we wanted to do with Morty as well, because he's a cattle mixed breed. He's going to be more inclined to be wanting to do things that can be associated with his breed characteristics. That is, lots of investigating, and also chewing, tugging toys, things like that, chasing things, herding things, if you like. So it's important that I try to get Morty to perform that behaviour that he enjoys doing, but also so it doesn't actually evolve into something that can be difficult to manage. Because if we're suppressing our dogs and not allowing them to perform the behaviours that they need to do, and that's based on their personality, their breed characteristics, the environment, and also their confidence levels and things like that, if we're not promoting those preferred behaviours and the ones that they need to do instinctively, then we can see amplification of other behaviours that aren't so desirable. So it's important that we're fulfilling our dog's physical and mental needs according to all of those characteristics associated with not just their individual personality, but we do need to take into account their breed to some degree. Now, the next video, what is it going to be? I don't know. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is desensitisation, and basically getting Morty used to being at the front door with the door shut, because having the door open was far too noisy and stimulating him to start barking and running up to the front door, scratching at the at the security door. Now, he's been very active here, and we're in the process of basically allowing him some access into the back door. We're leaving that freely open, and I'm going to try to divert his attention because he's very bouncy there, and you can see again his tail's up. He's pretty alert, he's looking around, his ears sort of focusing on lots of different things, but I'm diverting him over to this area where he likes to jump up and have a look. So this is going to help him to just create pleasant associations with that area and divert his attention away from wanting to possibly be diverted by something else and start barking. Now, this is also another good segue into helping to introduce your dogs gently and calmly, and this is promoting calm behaviour because I'm talking to both of the dogs in a nice, calm voice, and they're just having a nice sniff and investigating in a neutral way, which is really nice. And there will be another video coming up that actually is a good situation where I would prefer to divert one of the dogs away from each other. Now, I just sneakily took this video footage because Morty, see, you can see now the door's open. Now, we had to balance between having the door open and the door closed because of the noise that was going on in the backyard from lawnmowers and whippersnippers and kids playing and screaming. But this was a perfect opportunity for me to get Morty really diverted with something that's going to keep his interest peaked in the form of a food puzzle toy, or in this case a chew toy, to basically help him do the behaviour that he really wants to do, but not actually associated with running around the backyard, which is what he was doing on, say, day 1 or day 2. But we had to just let him get that out of his system to become acclimatised to the backyard. If I had have tried to restrict him from doing that and asked him to come in, then it would have caused frustration. So it's really important that we try to phase things down. So from that respect, I was phasing his chewing and running behaviour, those combined behaviours, zooming around the yard with a chew toy in his mouth, then phasing that down over the next day or so with him actually being able to chew his chew toy, but in a position where he's lying next to the door's open, but he's not being diverted by the wildlife and the noises in the backyard. So that, it's just another strategy to help promote calm behaviour, but doing it again in phases. And that's going to be different to your lifestyle and where you live. But I want you to take these strategies and transpose the concepts into your lifestyle. And I'm just providing examples with these videos, nothing more, nothing less. So the next one, okay, so I'm wanting to create some calm behaviour with the food puzzle toys. And once again, you'll see that the door's shut. Now, I had to shut the door because Morty was running up to the door and scratching on the security door. So I thought, well, how can I help divert him away from that behaviour that's not the best behaviour for him to be wanting to get into a habit of doing, and putting his rope toy in a big box like that and getting him to find it was a really good diversion. Now here, I'm diverting Marco away because, in contrast with the situation where we saw previously with Morty and Marco just sniffing together in the backyard, that's more a neutral position, and their body language was nice and calm and just, for that situation, nice and calm, and it was just a nice ambient atmosphere as well to promote calm. Now, in this situation, Morty had actually moved away from Marco and sat down with that pillowcase with the kibble in the pillowcase, and he was wanting to focus on that himself. So it's safer for that situation for me to divert Marco away from Morty to allow him to keep performing that calm behaviour, but create pleasant associations in conjunction with Marco, in conjunction with me in that situation, and in conjunction with that whole scenario that I'd set up initially. So it's always important that we not just think about the beginning of the situation we're trying to work with, it's the whole follow through of everything. So we have to be mindful all the time where we're trying to set up a situation of calm behaviour and we've got multiple things happening We have to intervene when we need to. And in that case, I needed to do that and divert Marco away so Morty could have some peace and quiet. Now, the next one.
Good boy, Marco.
So this was actually earlier. This is probably day one. And I have got Marco on one side of the barrier and I'm providing some food puzzle toys for Morty out there on his own. That's when we were very first, one of the first days that I was actually wanting to make sure that Morty and Marco were going to be okay around food. And to do that, I did that in phases, separated Marco from Morty with the barrier there, so he was okay to eat his food puzzle toys, and then Morty's actually able to have his. Now, the next phase would have been for me to then place some food puzzle toys on the other side of that barrier, some distance away, and then move them closer. And that's going to help create positive associations with Marco and Morty around food in general. So that's another phase to then allow you to be able to put your dogs in a situation where they're able to have food puzzle toys in a situation where they can both access those same toys. But we still need to supervise because, as you saw in that previous video, I still needed to divert Marco away from Morty, just to make sure that that was going to end up being a pleasant situation from the start to the finish. Now here's another one here. This is a great, this is actually a really nice video because I wanted to highlight, again, we've got two different puzzle toys, but with Morty, I wanted to actually put the snuffle mat down because he was a lot more energetic that day and barking at different sights and sounds that were piquing his interest. So once again, shut the front door, and the snuffle mat was a really great way for him to be engaged with his nose to the ground. Now, he's gone back to snuffling for a chew toy there, but it's important that I give him that option to really get his nose to the ground there. And as you can see, once again, his tail is held very highly, and he's very alert to what's happening around him in the environment. So it's really important for me to try to give him the most suitable food puzzle toy in that situation to help me, to help him get his nose to the ground and focused on in a productive way, rather than focusing on what's going on in the environment outside. And we've got a couple more here, and I want you to take notice. Here again is the snuffle mat. This is a really, really lovely enrichment idea, but I want you to notice that the blinds are shut here. And this is leading out into the backyard where, again, at this time, and you can see he has a little bit of a roof, and his ears are, pricking to listen to what's going on. But this is the best food puzzle toy for this situation that was helping me to help Morty just get his nose to the ground in a productive way. And what I did here, here's another one here, once again in phases. The food puzzle toy, the best food puzzle toy for that situation, placed right at the hot spot, if you like. But we've got some other food puzzle toys here as well that are placed at more of a distance away from the door to still have that phase. And as you can see, the barrier was opened as well to allow the dogs to then go into the next phase. Right. And once again, the same situation here, but with the front door. You can see the front door shut, and here I've decided to use some boxes and put some treats wrapped up in the pillowcases again, and that way Morty's got to dig his nose deeper into those boxes. And here's another one here that was piquing his interest as well. And he had been barking and scratching at the security door again, so I thought, what's the best thing to do? Get him a range of things that's going to get his nose really snuffling through some things there, and some deep cardboard boxes were a great choice, and it just so happens that was a good choice, and it was all trial and error. And you'll find that trial and error is something that you'll have to do, and trying things according to your individual situation and Hello Morty. Morty's having a sniff on the table, and I've got some food puzzle toys down here for both of the boys to snuffle through while I'm doing this video. Now, I think the last one I wanted to show you. Now, another one here is just getting the dogs used to sleeping in their beds, and sometimes you're going to have to find a suitable location that's comfortable for your new dog. And this is a really interesting one here. So trying to create pleasant associations with a bed. That wasn't the bed, this position that you saw Morty's bed in, and we're going to see it again here. That wasn't the right position for that bed. He just wasn't settling, and we did actually find a better solution for him, and he's now enjoying the position where he's better. He's now in this position here. We've actually got his crate, because he does like to be in a semi-darkened environment, and that helps him to rest a lot better. So he does have a crate in that position with a nice heavy blanket over the top of it, and he chooses to go in there when he likes to have a little bit more of a snooze. But for the purposes of this video, I was promoting calm behaviour on that particular mat. That is Morty's, his bed there. And a good way to do that on that occasion was with a chew toy, because that is one of his preferred behaviours. So mixing it up and providing lots of different food puzzle toys based on what behaviours you're seeing your new dog do, and what they appear to be most enjoying or preferring to do. So the purpose of this video is really just to get you to have a look at some situations that I found myself in with Morty, trying to manage his adolescent behaviour where he's always being stimulated by his environment and what's happening at the front door, in the front yard or in the backyard, noises from various things, and just trying to minimise the noises and the distractions as much as possible so you can work in phases and acclimatise your dog to your environment. And the best way to do that is by creating distance, and I used barriers to do that. So I was creating distance from the stimuli, which is going to be the back door leading out into the backyard, the front door leading out into the front yard, and working on promoting calm behaviour in the more quiet areas of your house, and then moving on to the areas that are going to have more distractions. And it might mean, like we did, just shutting the doors and working from that point. And if that's not successful, then go back to a better distance or a larger distance, and then work back again. Looking at mixing up your food puzzle toys and your interesting activities for your dog to help create positive associations with that environment, and just trying new things and not being discouraged if one thing doesn't work. And you will find that when you get into a routine of doing that, helping to promote calm behaviour on their mat, at the front door, at the back door, in different parts of the house, if you focus on that on the first week, you're going to see improvements, and you're going to see lots of things where you can then extend on other real-world opportunities to build upon, if you like. So I think that's probably where I'll stop now, but hopefully it wasn't too confusing. Just take those videos at face value and see what you can transpose into your own lifestyle, and we'll talk again soon.